best. Welcome. So this is going to be a special Leo full moon, first full moon of the year, live stream where everyone is invited to take part. The first thing that we will be doing is some smoke cleansing. With my old favorite super hit, which of course is to improve and bring out the best aspects of your particular zodiac sign, right? There's a lot more of me hitting the mic in these live streams. I apologize for that ahead of time. And just start bringing to your mind all of the things over the past few weeks, the first month of the new year. Start calling to mind your New Year's resolutions for making money, for bringing abundance into your life, whatever that looks like to you. So it could be a new car, it could be a new job, it could be a new place to live, it could be if you want to have kids, it could be additionally if you have kids and you want to be able to send them to college, or you want to be able to send them to a nice private school. So just keep thinking about these things. Let the smoke wash over you and float over you. Because actually there's a lot of good energy around this Leo full moon for prosperity and abundance. So it's good that we're focusing on that at this time. Now, oh, my incense has gone out. Oh geez, I'm sorry. I've been having a lot of stomach problems lately. So if I make gurgling noises, I hope you'll let it slide just this once. Over the past few sessions, we've been prepping this bayberry candle. Bayberry. And I started that pretty close to the new moon because you want to get that good cumulative energy. And you want it to have been started before the Mercury retrograde as well. So I started working on this candle long before the Mercury retrograde. Bayberry candles, when burned to the socket, bring luck to the house, food to the larder, and gold to the pocket. Gold to the pocket. I think it's traditionally a Christmas thing, but we're still well into winter, so I'm going to call it a start of the year thing. Some of you might be celebrating Imbolc soon, so and I wrote a bunch of affirmations on the candle already, and I've been anointing it with different oils. So I've anointed it with rosemary oil and also money oil. And before I light it just now, I'm also going to use this peppermint oil. Oh gosh, I guess we can hear doors slamming all throughout the building. This mic is pretty powerful. Oh gosh, sorry, that was kind of loud. Sorry. Now it smells strongly like peppermint in here. That'll definitely help my stomach. And you actually want to start at the top of the candle and work your way down to the bottom when you're doing spells for bringing things into your life. And then if you are trying to bring things out of your life, you would go in the opposite direction. I'm sure most of you know that, but I just wanted to refresher. have a vessel here in which to burn the candle. So I'm going to be lighting it and I'm going to stick it upright in this vessel. And while I'm burning this candle, I just want you to set your intention and start sending forth into the flame these intentions and affirmations that you have been collecting over the first part of the new year, and just draw them right into the flame. All of the good intentions that you want to send regarding your prosperity for the new year, just send it right into this candle. Prosperity for all, home ownership, college education for your kids, even any of those kinds of things. And it's a little cumbersome for me to pick this up and get this candle stuck down, but I'll just kind of describe to you that what I'm doing is dripping the wax here into the bottom of this basin, and I'm going to have to drip quite a bit to get it to stick here to the bottom of this vessel. And yeah, that should be enough. We'll find out in a moment if this comes splashing down, but it seems to be pretty well stuck. So you can kind of see it right here in the corner of the screen. We'll see how long. We'll see how long it's visible. Let me move this around. So this is the part of the live stream where we're going to do some card pulls. And I do have a couple crystals tonight. I have my smoky quartz and I have my clear quartz. And I'll be using those for the meditation. So going into the meditation, I pull some cards. And I just bought this deck. It's the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot. So hopefully I can open it up without messing up the tuck box. I haven't opened it yet. Tuck box, tuck box, tuck box. Tuck box, more like stuck box, am I right? Well, if I can't get this box open, I'll just use some other tarot cards. Yeah, I'm gonna go get another deck and I'll work on these for later. there's a few extra cards in here too. So if any of those come up, it'll be interesting to see. If you guys have any questions or comments, definitely let me know in the chat. This card pull, I'm going to see kind of what the climate is, and then we can go into the guided meditation. Excited to use these cards. I think there's a red Sonia deck too, but I'm just really into Vampirella in particular. But if you're into red Sonia, there's a red Sonia deck. And now these are going to smell like peppermint, which is good. Alright, so let's see what's going on. Kind of fan these out a little bit. Just kind of randomly picked some. Alright. Oh, we do have some interesting cards in here. Okay. Two of Swords. There is a choice being made. Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups is about having a lot of options, some of them good and some of them bad. Whereas the Two of Swords is about a choice between two equally weighted options. So it might look like you have a lot of options, but it's more likely that you have two really good options to choose from. We got two of the extra cards. We got the Rose. Roses always smell sweet, and they're very beautiful, but they can be kind of temperamental to take care of. We have the Five of Swords too. So the Five of Swords can be about a situation where you were victorious, but there was a lot of conflict involved, and you might have alienated some friends. We also have the Contemplation card, which is also particular to this deck, in the reverse. Contemplation in the reverse. The time to act is now. It's not time to contemplate, it's time to act. So we have a choice. We have several options looking apparent. Hi. Pull a couple more cards. Alright, so we have the Three of Swords, which can be about conflict also. We've got this Three of Swords, we've got the Five of Swords, we've got the Two of Swords. And we have the Nine of Cups in the reverse. So I feel like the potential for happiness is there, but there's going to be a little bit of conflict first. So let's see if there are ways that we can mitigate that conflict. Make it turn out in our favor. I just wanted to remind all of you that I do this every week, but only once a month am I going to open it up to the general public. The rest of the time, it's for subscribers. So we have some cards coming out here in the reverse in reference to wanting to mitigate this conflict, right? We've got the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands reversed can be somebody who is a gossip, somebody who is catty, somebody who uses their seductive powers for evil, so to speak. We have the Hierophant in the reverse, and the Hierophant can be a card of marriage. It's also a card of the status quo. So one thing that you might look into doing is finding ways to subvert the current status quo, right? And then finally, we had the Nine of Cups showing up in the reverse, and we have the Ten of Cups showing up in the reverse too, but the Ten of Cups in the reverse can be referring to the end of a cycle. So there might be some kind of emotional cycle in your life, especially with this Queen of Wands in the reverse. This could be a romantic partner, but that could be the energy that you're bringing to situations as well. So putting an end to that cycle, and it's possible that that's part of the group that you are in, like either your workplace or your peer group, and separating yourself from that will help you to move forward in a positive direction. Alright, so now we can move on to the guided meditation. Guided meditation. Duck box, more like stuck box, am I right? I'm kidding. Oh, jeez. Keep hitting the microphone stand. So now you know how much I actually hit the microphone stand and have to stop recording and start over and edit out noises. In order to give myself more workspace, I did place myself a little bit further back from the webcam. Hi, thanks for coming. But hopefully you guys will still be able to see the crystals. Hi everybody, thank you for coming. You're just in time for the guided meditation. So we're going to start by taking taking some very deep breaths. And while you are exhaling, on the exhale, you're going to release all of the things that, some of those things might have come up in the cards, all the things that are holding you back from achieving abundance in your life. So take a deep breath and hold and release. Take a deep breath and hold and let go. Take a deep breath and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and release. And one more. Take a deep breath and hold and let it go. Just release anything that you want to get rid of that is no longer bringing abundance into your life. Sorry, I swear I'll stop doing that. I swear. All right. So, there are areas near the ocean that are not quite on the shore, where there's wetlands, these little kind of rivers and rivulets and creeks that come off of the ocean. And some of these border on forests. Some of these are very close to the forest. So we're going to travel. We're going to start in the forest. And there are some deciduous trees there, but there are also a lot of pine trees. And you're looking overhead through the canopy up at the sky. It's mid-afternoon. The ground here is kind of spongy, but it's not wet. And you are focused on meeting your primary needs right now. So, with you, you have a pack, and in that pack, you have water. You have a small ration of food. You have a sleeping roll, but it's not a very heavy pack. It's just enough to know that you're safe and secure, and that you have the supplies you need with you if you get tired and you need to rest. So now you are traveling and you come to a place where the trees break, and it's pretty warm today. It's pretty warm. It's pretty humid because we're inland a little bit, not too far. You can still kind of feel ocean breezes brushing washing your skin. So our goal is to get from this wetland to the beach. And the thing about this journey is that your goal, more than reaching the beach, your goal is to enjoy the journey. And so, if your pack gets heavy, it's okay to take it off. But keep in mind that we're in the wetlands part now, and so it might get a little bit wet. So, this journey into the wetlands, you've taken your shoes off, and you're rolling up the cuffs of your pants. You put your shoes and your socks into your pack and put it back on your back. And you're feeling those really soft, nice coastal breezes on your skin. And all around you, you start to notice the wildlife. Some of the wildlife is just very beautiful and quite tame, like herons and maybe even some frogs and some turtles sunning themselves on rotting pieces of wood, floating into these, it's kind of swampy, it's kind of marshy. There are still a few trees, but not as many. Mostly like cypress and stuff like that. The water's not very deep here, so you're able to walk through it quite easily, but it does offer a little bit of resistance, a little bit fun. You can feel it squishing up between your toes. Some of the wildlife you're not as excited to see. Over off to one side, you think that you might see a snake, but it turned out to be a piece of wood. And off to the other side, you think you might see a snapping turtle, but it's actually a rock. And a lot of your obstacles are like this. A lot of your obstacles don't actually exist standing in front of you. Once you get closer, you realize they're not very threatening at all. So, you keep going and you're a little bit on guard, but mostly you feel pretty safe. And the sun is starting to go down a little bit. It's not as high overhead now. So it's getting cooler. It's not going to be cold. You'll still be quite comfortable. But you might choose to put on a long sleeve shirt. You might be getting hungry now, and you may decide to take a granola bar out of your pack. And it's important to remember that when you are working very hard towards a goal, it's important to enjoy it. And it's also important to take care of your body. So anything that you need to do, you're going to be addressing it at this time. Changing clothes, get a bite to eat, drink some water, maybe even stop and sit on a log and take a break. You've been walking for a little while, but not too long. This isn't a very long journey. And now we're getting to the part of the wetlands where there are little rivers that snake through the tall grass. And there's a little bit more water here. You're going to follow these wetlands out to the ocean. But now the tree cover is pretty much gone. There might be occasional little brushy bushes. But not the cypress trees or the pines that you were seeing before. It's important to be able to perceive changes. Changes in your situation. Subtle changes. Because a lot of things don't develop super quickly. They develop slowly over time. So right now you're observing these subtle changes that are occurring around you. As you're walking through this water, the water's about knee deep. Knee deep, knee deep, knee deep, knee deep. And again, it's offering a bit of resistance. But it's not difficult to walk through, and you're not worried about stepping on anything uncomfortable or sharp. The mud underneath your feet is very soft, and all of the tadpoles and little fish that are in the water, you can feel them brush against your legs softly, but they're able to get out of your way quite easily, and you're not worried about stepping on any of them. And that's kind of like work environments. Everyone is able to move freely. Sorry, I hope that you can't hear the screaming children outside. I really like the children. They have little cars that they drive out in the courtyard too. But they can be a little loud sometimes when I'm doing live streams, so I hope you don't mind them hanging out. You're feeling subtle changes as you walk through this water. You can feel pockets of cool water. You can feel pockets of warm water. Yeah. And as you are noticing these different pockets of temperature changing water in this brackish wetland, and feeling the little fish brushing against your legs and your toes squishing down into the silt on the bottom most things are not that difficult to adapt to as long as you go into it with the right mentality. I find that the longer I'm at a job, the more difficult it seems to be to adapt because you get very set in your patterns. You just want to go in, do your job, and then leave and get paid. But this year, we all want to be doing jobs that we're very excited about. They give you the same feeling as mud brushing between your toes, or a soft coastal breeze. If you're not into squishy mud on your toes, I know some people aren't, then you might be. Can I interest you in a soft and pleasant coastal breeze, carrying the sweet smell of the salty ocean inland, brushing your skin? You can always tell when you've been close to the beach because the smell gets into your hair and your skin, and you feel very fresh, even if you've been out there all day. Obviously, if you've been sweating, sweat is going to counteract that a little bit. And obviously, with any job, there's a certain amount of hard work and investment required. Even if you're getting involved in something that's bringing you a passive income, there's still an investment, and there's still some kind of labor cost associated with it, right? But there's also a freshness about it. So now we've gotten to the point. We've followed this river, and now there's a patch where there are some little crabs and crustaceans and periwinkles, which are those little mollusks that burrow down into the sand. But they have these very tiny little shells. Very tiny little shells. But they do burrow down into the sand. And what has happened here is that the tide is low. And so where the rivulet was flowing into this wetland, the sand has kind of gotten compressed by the water flowing over it. But the rivulet has dried up to just a little stream going into that wetland. And there are a few high spots where there's this kind of wet sand where these crabs and little periwinkles are crawling around on the sand. And you're being very careful, right? So you're being very careful, and you want to walk around all of the crabs. You don't want to step on them because they're very small and they can't really defend themselves against a large animal like you, even though they have little pinchers. And it may seem like they can hurt you, like you could step on them and it would be very uncomfortable. But the truth of the matter is that you can do so much more harm to those tiny little crabs and periwinkles than they could possibly do to you. And that's why it's important to have compassion for them and recognize the need in work environments business to take care of the people around you, especially if they are defenseless against you. If you hold much more power, or if you are a supervisor or a boss or a business owner, you have people working under you. That's like taking care of the little crabs and the little periwinkles on the beach. Because the crabs and periwinkles can help out too. One thing that exists in coastal areas and down on the beach sometimes, especially like in South Georgia and in Florida, I know they had them a lot. They're called no-see-ums. And they are kind of on the higher up part of the beach, right? And you can't see them, but they can bite you. And there's not too much you can do about it, but it's just slightly uncomfortable. It's not something that's going to harm you severely. It's just something that's an annoyance when you go to the beach. Otherwise, everything is so pleasant and nice. And it's important to remember that and not get too hung up on these little biting beach creatures that you can't even see. They're so insignificant. So insignificant. Like expense reports. Other kinds of record keeping sometimes. Or maybe even that one nagging coworker. You can see some seagulls overhead now too. And the seagulls, as long as you don't have food out in your hand, pretty much will leave you alone. I'm so clumsy this evening. But you hear them up above you, plotting, beating their wings. There's a big crowd of them. But you know that as long as you keep your food tucked away while you're on this upper part of the beach, that the seagulls aren't going to bother you. So you don't worry about it too much. And it's getting kind of dark now. So, oh, yeah. Yeah, we love our squishy friends. It's getting kind of dark now on the beach, which is a great time to be down there on the water. You can see a lot of stars. You can see the moon. The moon provides a lot of light, a lot of light, a lot of light. And you are able to walk along the shore. And you've finally made it, right? You finally made it down to the beach, but you haven't dipped your toes in the water yet. is going to be a period of time where you're still adjusting to your new environment. Because now that you've gotten down to the shore, the possibilities have opened up for you. That's what the beach represents, is that all of these possibilities open up for you, and you're finally able to see the ocean of new horizons that you can explore. And remember, these can be work situations, but can also just be any other thing that brings prosperity into your life. Once you get over that first and main hurdle, right? Then you can start really getting into the exciting parts of the journey. So you're out here on the beach at night, and you come across a kayak. Now, this isn't a super deserted beach, so for example, sometimes you're out on the beach at night and you can see the lights flickering on ships in the distance, or maybe you're over in Santa Monica and you can see Catalina Island off in the distance, or maybe you're somewhere else on the coast and you just see a lot of boats and they have their lights on at night, and you know that you can go out in this kayak if you want, and you won't get too terribly lost in the darkness. There's a few houses on the beach, and some of them have like their outside lights on, and so you aren't too worried about being able to find your way back to shore. Now, this kayak represents the beginning of phase 2. Phase 2. Phase 2. You've reached the point where you are coming into your affluence. You can afford to buy the house that you want, maybe even a house on the beach. You can afford to start thinking about your next business ventures. Maybe you are able to invest in other people's businesses and grow your wealth by sharing with others the fruits of your success. And you do feel very grateful to have reached this point, and you think about all of the little turtles, you think about the crabs and the periwinkles and the little fish, because there are all kinds of fish in the ocean too. There are little fish in the ocean, there are big fish in the ocean. The ocean is a little bit scarier than these inland wetlands. I love that you knew her name, by the way. That's the kind of attention to detail that will get you far in life. And you do decide to take up the oars, and you get into the kayak and you push off from the shore. successful in everything that you do because of the journey that brought you to this point. And you know that you have everything that you will need to take you where you need to go as well. And we're going to breathe together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, thank you. I'll try not to hit the mic so much. And now we're back. And now we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this installment of the Abundance Super Manifestation Ritual. I appreciate all your kind comments and your support. I hope that you enjoyed this. Here's how our candle is doing. I'm going to let it burn all the way down. I kind of have it on slant, so the wax is accumulating on this side, but when I look at the results of the burn, I'm not going to count that necessarily, because I kind of put it on an angle. I hope that you guys have a great night, a great rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.